you about somebody who feels like the individuals around them, their social community, or perhaps it's their work community, that nobody really understands them or nobody really understands where they're coming from. Perhaps there's a difference in terms of background or beliefs. Or maybe you've just got, some kind of judgmental people. So this could be about you or somebody that you're close to, but with the Ace of Autumn or Ace of Pentacles coming through also in the reverse, it feels to me like there's someone assessing the scene or the environment and realizing maybe it's time to get a new job, maybe it's time to get some new friends, or maybe it's time to move. Hello, Lemonade. How are you? Let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. And I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedonestarot@gmail.com. You can find that in the description box along with more information on how to become a member, as well as a link to my Etsy page in case you're interested in a homemade soy candle. Otherwise, let's start off with, we're going to go with the Black Tarot. Hello, Rachel. Hello, Kikinshola. What's up? What else do we have? Tower in the reverse. Wow, another Ten of Cups in the reverse, clarifying the Ten of Cups in the reverse. Hold on a second. Okay, so this might be less about you and somebody who is a little bit difficult. So it kind of feels to me like a person who has previously had like free reign, or they were Regina in the Mean Girls, right? And then all of a sudden they feel unseated. So we could have a person who was previously feeling kind of like they had control over a community or a workplace. Everybody, responded to them or looked up to them. And now this person's getting frustrated because people have started to see who they really are. Because we have the Queen of Swords in the reverse. This is somebody who has been misrepresenting themselves. And we also have the Queen of Wands. Does not mean that that has to be a woman, by the way. But this is somebody who misrepresented their energy, and now enough time has passed where that mask has started to slip and people are realizing, oh, well, you're not who you said you were. Hello, Joaquin. How are you doing? So this could be like you lied about your experience on your resume, and so now people are figuring you out. So maybe you've got someone at work who has been a thorn in your side, and now things are starting to shift, and they might be looking for a new job. Or maybe you're dealing with a neighbor who is contemplating moving because no longer are they able to get away with their shenanigans. What else do we have? The Hanged Man in the reverse, Ace of Cups in the reverse, Nine of Wands, and the Hermit in the reverse. Yeah, so this is someone who's unhealed, and they've been causing an issue within this community. If you want me to do, I am happy to pass your information to Rachel. We've got the Hanged Man in the reverse, indicating somebody who has refused to learn or update their perspective. They are stuck in a particular situation, and it feels like they kind of dig in their heels. They don't want to change. They don't want to understand somebody else's perspective. This is like stubborn energy, and in a negative way, right? There's sometimes some stubbornness is charming, right? This is a person who seems to try to get like influence over everyone and wants everyone to only wear Sweatpants on what days? You know how they had rules in Mean Girls? Like this is when you're supposed to wear this. This is when you can eat that. Hello, career. How are you doing? Hello, Will. I hope you're having a good day. What else? King of Spheres or King of Pentacles. Two of Swords in the reverse. And the King of Wands in the reverse. Yeah, I don't really like that. So presenting themselves as a King of Pentacles, when in reality they're a King of Wands in the reverse and a Queen of Swords in the reverse. This could be someone who puts a lot of emphasis on their physical looks, spends a lot of time at the gym, buys expensive clothing. They want to impress people and make an impression. And they view that as very important to get people to like them initially. But they also end up showing their true character in terms of when they get irritable or frustrated, whether or not they're willing to have anybody else's back or defend anybody, right? No worries. Hello, Urban Walker. How are you doing? What else? 10 of Wands, Knight of Swords, and the 3 of Spears or the 3 of Pentacles. Yeah, this just feels to me like more likely a work environment or a social dynamic that has, maybe it's a volunteer situation, but there's someone who feels like they are like leader of the pack. Everybody should follow what they say, but the group around them are starting to see who this person really is and questioning if they want to be associated. So maybe we've got somebody who's about to get fired or somebody who is being exposed for lying about what their expertise is or what they bring to the table. Hello, Divine Earth. How's it going? Hello, Pharaoh. What's up? What else do we have? 4 of Cups in the reverse and the Hierophant. Okay, so we've got somebody who is like basically being watched. Maybe they've been put on an action plan. Maybe there's been a little bit of like a second round of background check and realizing, oh, you weren't honest about what happened before you got here, what you were involved with, what ended that situation, and why you looked for a new living situation or a new work situation. I think they lied about it. This is Under the Oak. Hey, Static, how are you doing? What else do we have? Knight of Wands, 4 of Cups, and Judgment. When you pretend to be something that you're not, it only lasts for a little time. It makes me think of Harry Potter. I don't remember the name of the spell. Maybe you guys do. It's like in there somewhere. Whatever the spell was where they could change their appearance and look like somebody else. It doesn't last for 8 years, it lasts for a certain amount of time, and then you're going to have to deal with potentially being discovered as a fake, right? So this person has done something. Our Queen of Swords in reverse has betrayed the act. They're the wizard behind the curtain. Wow, Queen of Wands in the reverse and the Queen of Cups in the reverse. Okay. Yeah, they have definitely been wearing a mask. They are absolutely going to be overreacting, combative, accusatory, because there's some desperation that's coming through. I worked hard to set up this situation, have this job, or have this social community. And as I can sense that I'm losing my power or people aren't believing me as readily as they did before, now I get frantic, insecure, but also overly confident. It's a pretty heavy cocktail. Two of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles in the reverse, and the King of Wands. So the Hierophant, King of Wands energy is likely the boss. It could also be your energy, but this is someone who's very grounded and has strong morals and principles. And they're picking up on this individual being a fake, trying to disguise what they're really capable of, what their experiences are, who they are, and what their intentions are. This Hierophant is basically saying, not on my watch. I don't think so. No kidding, Static. It's a lot. What else do we have? Hey, Divine Earth, are you intending to come across as a little bit, like intimidating? I'm trying to figure out if you're judgmental. Because that's crossing a little bit of a line there. Thank you, Rachel. I was trying to figure that out. If you're going to refer yourself as Divine Earth Angel, I would hope that the energy that you possess and show other people is one that is based in love and not fear. So if you're going to refer to yourself that way, I would work on some healing there. That's a little bit questionable. Let's see what else we've got for the reading. We have the Chariot and the Four of Pentacles. There's multiple people who have stories or experiences, and it's like initially there's a silo effect. I must be a little bit crazy. There's no way that person totally fabricated, like speaking a whole other language or knowing how to write code or being able to tutor somebody in piano lessons. There's no way anybody would be that crazy, right? And then there are others that come out of the woodwork and they're like, no, actually, we've seen some strange things as well. So it goes from 0 to 60, where the community, be it work or social, is starting to see a very different energy coming from this Queen of Swords in the reverse. LOL, Jubilee. I hope you're having a good weekend. Hello, Key Controller. Hello, Ruben. What's up? I'm not sure what the end of your sentence is there, Sarah, but I do personal questions after the general reading, which would be in about another 20 minutes. With priority to those who tip or donate, you are also able to gift a membership to someone else in the live chat, and I would pull some cards for you as well. Just make sure you put your question in the super chat if that's what you choose to do. Thank you, Rachel. Hello, Sayer. How are you doing? So sometimes it feels like everything happens all at once, but it's really that this person has been witnessed doing things a little bit out of character or that like betray the lie. And now finally these four individuals or these four experiences are being like combined, like, oh, well, if that's the case, then this is not just some like anomaly or some random thing. This is indicative of a pattern or something that we really need to be aware of. Hello, Anna. How are you doing? The cool clip. What else do we have? Nine of Swords. Five of Swords and the King of Cups. Yeah, there's definitely desperation. This is like, oh no, what do I do? I have to make sure that nobody figures me out or realizes that I was lying. But as they let that desperation rule them, it becomes more and more obvious to somebody involved in this situation. Maybe you're the witness who's sitting over here like, I see how you're moving. Made that person mad. You lied to that person. You lied on your resume. And you're like, maybe about like another 4 days and then this person's going to get fired. Because I feel there's someone who's overlooking or just like kind of sitting there watching. Maybe you initially called it. Maybe you thought this person was a bad addition to the team from the very beginning. Yeah, another Ace of Pentacles in the reverse and the Sun. So I feel there's someone who's about to get fired or someone who gets kicked out of the friend group. And it's because their mask has fallen. Their intentions are visible, whereas previously they had done a pretty good job of hiding that. Hello, Cora. How are you doing? Hello, Delinia. What's up? We've got Ghost. In the realm of shadows, where memories are host, the echoes of what is gone still haunts me the most. Mirror, self-examination, understanding, and acceptance. I feel like this is someone who learned enough to be, dangerous about a field, and it's almost like catch me if you can kind of, here we go, I can fake that I did this, or I can fake that I went to that school, or that I had this experience. Even if it's a social community, this could just be somebody who is lying about their interests or kind of manipulated or contrived a random meeting with someone because they wanted to be a part of that group. But that acceptance they got is being rescinded. Grim Reaper. In the realm of twilight where shadows converge, the Grim Reaper's scythe guides souls to the verge. Their little act is up, and someone, possibly you, may have had a little bit of an inkling here the entire time. Something ain't right with that person. I don't trust them. I feel like they are faking. So we have one of my favorite cards, the Black Cat, which says grace, mystery, and psychic abilities. Yeah, someone, probably you were like, I'm pretty sure I know what I'm looking at, and you're lying about who you are. Overthinking, each thought a labyrinth, endless, obscure. There is no peace amidst this self-imposed torture. So therefore, they have created a problem for themselves, and now they're trapped. People want answers. Like, hey, you told me that you were from Orlando. Then why is it that, you've got family pictures and you're clearly from Seattle? Why is it that you said you graduated from this school and when I called, they didn't have any record of you at all? It's a little bit sus, right? Let's get a few from the Stained Glass Tarot. What else do we have? Hello, Rama. How are you doing? Thank you. What else? Three of Pentacles. Nine of Cups. And the Five of Swords in the reverse. So they feel like they had everybody won over. They feel like everyone loves me. Why is it changing all of a sudden? It's like they were able to manipulate and had this plan, but they seem to kind of fail at picking up on when people change their opinion or reading the room. And I feel like that would be because ego gets in the way. Sometimes people are good at lying, but not reading other people. So I can convince you of something, but then I don't necessarily realize it until it's too late that there's some doubt on your face. There is some concern that maybe I'm not that great. That lying could be, you know, improved upon if they really wanted to go down that route. Hello, FD. LOL. Hello, child. How are you doing? Thank you. Welcome. No stoned Emma. We have the Ten of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. To preserve this group, that sense of belonging that other people feel, I think we now have people turning on this Queen of Swords in the reverse. Initially, it was like, oh yeah, this is great. You're totally invited to the happy hours, or I want you to come to my birthday. But now we have someone who's just kind of persona non grata. Interesting question, Sire. What do you mean by top? Like your entire life? What else do we have? King of Pentacles in the reverse. Seven of Swords in the reverse. And the Hanged Man. Yeah, we have people looking at the Queen of Swords in the reverse and seeing their true energy as opposed to the mask that they were wearing. With the King of Pentacles, there is a lack of grounded energy. And the Seven of Swords is in the reverse because it's like, I can see what's really going on with this person. 8 best things. Alrighty, I have added that for you. Hello, Manpreet, how are you doing? Hello, Mark. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. Let me know if you have let me know if you have a specific question or if you would just like me to pull some random cards for you. Ace of Cups in the reverse. The Tower in the reverse and the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. Sounds good, Mark. I will add that for you. So this is that loss of favor when you have friends and then they realize that maybe you're actually not a friend. Tower in the reverse, Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. And this Tower in the reverse is like this suspicion or anticipation. Have you ever known that a couple was going to break up before they actually broke up and you're just like, I know it's going to happen any minute. Shh, shh, don't talk. Oh, they're arguing now. Oh, it's about to happen. Let me make sure I have some popcorn real quick. There is this like quiet before the storm. And I feel like it's because there's multiple people in the group, again, whether it's at work or a social community, and it's like, I think they're going to get fired. They just got brought into the HR office. Oh my gosh. This tower in the reverse, maybe tower is more scary when it's in the upright, but this is like we know what's about to happen and it's going to be epic. Hold on, I don't know if I have enough butter on my popcorn. Need a little bit more Dr. Pepper, but I know what's about to happen. And it's because there's someone in particular, probably the Hierophant, and that could be your energy, who's like, okay, now that we have proof, now that we know that you have lied, now that we know you've been faking who you are, we're going to have a conversation. That conversation might be unexpected to the Queen of Swords because of their arrogance. But what do we have here? The Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. Do you feel like getting fired today? Seems to be what's happening. Hello, Prasanth. How are you doing? Feel free to put your request in a super chat and I will add it to the list. We are going to start those personal questions in approximately 7 minutes. Hello, B. How are you doing? So, getting kicked out of the friend group or fired for lying on their resume. But I don't think they see it. I think the people in the community are grabbing the popcorn and they're ready for the tea. But the Queen of Swords in the reverse, they're not cognizant or they're not picking up on the change, meaning that they're actually getting kicked out. They still feel like they have control or that they can manipulate people to get what they want out of that situation. This is The Truth Is. No worries, Rachel. Victorious, you will overcome any problems with this connection. And somebody is choosing to speak up about what they know. So there's people that work together, there's multiple experiences being shared, and whether it's a boss or, leader of the pack, there's a consensus here. We know that this person has been lying. We ain't here for it. So they need to go. This is the Kipper. Hello, Elijah. How are you doing? That's funny. What else do we have? Main male. Change. Courthouse and despair. So, yes, you might have thought that you were going to get away with this and everyone would be believing your lies and feeling like you are just like the coolest one in the group. But because we have been able to figure out that you were lying about where you were, what you done, where you graduated from, or even like what their name is, now we have someone who verifies the actual truth and it leads to despair. I think this is someone who gets fired or like ostracized. We figured out what was really going on. And even though you're, not from here, we still felt like you could be a part of the group. We have child. Someone was playing innocent, but they can't. We have journey. So there's a conversation that took place with somebody from a different location. Lack of verification that the Queen of Swords in the reverse worked at this location, even though they said they did. Or somebody who had experienced the lying and the fraud that the Queen of Swords in the reverse did in a different location, calls or notifies somebody in this group and says, hey, by the way, you might want to check on this person. Hello, Darnell. How are you doing? Where are we at? Let's get a few from the Gypsy Oracle, and then we'll start on those personal questions. We have Fortune and Old Woman. I feel like this is the Hierophant. Someone who's saying, okay, we're not going to pay you the big bucks if you don't actually have the experience that you claim to have. This could also be wise beyond your years energy. Being able to figure out why somebody wanted to actually be like infiltrating your group or your friendship circle. And then we have waiting. Someone who's been patient, collected information. And it's validating that this Queen of Swords in the reverse lied about their past history. Lied about their experience, pretended to be something that they're not. And now they're being shown the door. Now they're being kicked out. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Darnell. I hope he finds something amazing soon. What should we start with? This is the Marseille Cat Tarot. And we've got Zaire and then Mark. What are the 8 best things or predictions for Zaire, please? I knew we'd get a number 8. 8 of Wands is here. So, the first one is the 10 of Wands in the reverse. 10 of Wands in the reverse talks about something that isn't quite over. So there's something here that you have expected is done. I feel like this is a close connection, likely a close friendship, maybe even within your family, that you have kind of signed off. This is going to recover, or there's going to be like a resurgence of that connection. We also have the 4 of Wands. This is a happy relationship. So this is somebody who understands you at your core, but also inspires you to work on yourself in a way that is really meaningful. Hello, Nat Nat. How are you doing? Thank you for the tip. I got you. The third one, Sayur, we've got the 8 of Wands. This is positive communication from a person that you are kind of surprised thinks so highly of you. So this would be member of the community that's seen as like a pillar of the community or somebody that has a lot of respect. And this is someone who says something very positive about you. For number 4, we have the 7 of Cups in the reverse. There is a person who sets out to wear a mask and not be honest with you about who they are. But your powers of perception and your intuition are such that they fail epically. So you're able to avoid heartbreak or disappointment or even betrayal because you see right through this person. We also, let me write this down for Matthew. Thank you, Matthew. Temporary residence in Vietnam is meant to be successful. Without problems. That's a little bit of a tall order, Matthew, because I would argue that any living situation, you're probably going to have at least one problem, but we shall ask for you. So with the 6 of Wands being in the reverse, oh, sorry, that's a 6 of Swords. 6 of Swords in the reverse. The 5th prediction for you is perseverance. There's something that is thrown at you. I feel like this is a circumstance, maybe a health issue, maybe a family obligation that blocks you from an opportunity, but you're able to either balance both of these obligations or the things that you want to do, and you end up not losing out on that. Or this is saying you find it in a different location. 5 of Wands. Competition. So there is a situation in your life where you are competing for the same thing. I feel like this is romance, and it is difficult to see whether or not you're going to be the person that is chosen, but I see you being the one that is chosen. This is because you are authentic. So the other person seems to get really caught up in trying to make you look bad, and that's what causes them to not win. We have Temperance for number 7. You have an ability to put protection around yourself and avoid falling into temptation. And this is one of those times where it's like, yeah, maybe I could give into that temptation and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But there's an unforeseen consequence if you give into that temptation. And even without your knowing about that unforeseen consequence, you make the right choice. So it's like you might not even realize just how important that decision was, but you make the right one. That's funny, Elijah. I guess it would be for me, huh? And then we have the 6 of Wands. So this is a success when others expect failure. Like if you were to write a book or, I don't know, start a family late in life. There is something here where other people write you off as that's not going to happen for you, but you surprise everybody. So I feel like this is later in life when people tell you you're too old for something. I don't think you need to listen to them, at least not for this situation. You're going to surprise people by achieving success in something that they feel is a young person's game. All right, let's see what we've got for Mark. Hello, Stephen. How are you doing? What do we have for Mark, please? Knight of Wands, the World, the Six of Pentacles, and the Nine of Cups in the reverse. Mark, there's somebody who has done you wrong. I don't feel like this was, like last week or even maybe last month. This would be something that was a while ago. I feel like you're going to get some sort of insight or update on this person, and it lets you know that karma has been served, that there is some sort of justice that hit this person who betrayed or disappointed you, lied to you perhaps. There is a difficult lesson that they're having to learn, and I feel like it also provides to people who may have blamed you for that situation or, advised you to forgive this person, that you were right. So it's a twofer. Someone's getting their just desserts, justice. And there are people who previously may have sided with this other person or felt like you were overreacting. They're going to see things more clearly now. So there's a shift, and maybe you don't care about this anymore because I feel like you've moved on. But you were like vilified by this person, and now they're being shown to have lied about you. Now people are realizing that the truth was much more complex, and the individual who's getting this karma, the Knight of Wands, I feel like it's because there's multiple people that they've done the same thing to. So now your name is getting cleared, or people are seeing you in a different light. There is resolution because the truth is coming out regarding this partnership, friendship, or relationship. Anything else? You might get an apology or two from folks that were involved in this situation. Maybe it makes sense to reconcile if there were friendships that ended over this. But I think mostly this is for your own edification. This is for you to understand that people now have a different understanding and respect you more. And the individual that is getting the blame or getting their karma, they're having to face the reality of it because they can't lie to people anymore. They can't manipulate people into thinking you're the problem anymore. Hello, Anantu. How are you doing? Hello, Pharaoh. What's up? Where did I put that? There we go. So, Mark, I'm wishing you good luck. Let's see what we've got for Nat Nat. Actually, I'm feeling a different tarot deck. Hold, please. Golden Art Nouveau. What details do we have for Nat Nat regarding the incoming partner? I love partner. Five of Swords in the reverse. Star. King of Pentacles in the reverse. Ten of Swords in the reverse, and the Tower. This is someone who previously had an issue with self-sabotage. They have healed their insecurities or imposter syndrome or codependencies. This is someone who may have previously been financially insecure or materialistic. Let's see which one it is. I would say this was someone who was materialistic. They were too focused on the finances being like definitive, like that's who I am. There are different priorities for this individual now. They don't feel the need to like build up their reputation through materialism anymore. So this is someone who has been working on themselves and they see things differently and they've had a pretty significant change in their life. I do feel like they're more reasonable with regards to finances and more balanced with regards to those priorities. And they see things more clearly, like why people act certain ways and why they chose to act in a certain way. They aren't as easily influenced anymore. And as of right now, this person is trying to work on their intuition. They blocked it out for a long time. They were overly analytical, and now they're tapping into that intuitive side. Did I say hello to Darnell? Yeah, I think I did. That sounds good, Mark. I'm glad to hear it. All right, let's see what we've got for Matthew. Oops, over here. We'll use the Prisma Visions Tarot. So the temporary residence in Vietnam for Matthew, is this meant to be successful for Matthew? Yes, I love that. It's got the Ten of Cups, which is exactly the card I would want to see for domestic bliss. Yes, it is meant to be successful for you, or it is the right place for you. And is this going to be without problems? Minimal problems. Nothing crazy. We do have a Seven of Swords, so there could be somebody like a neighbor who is not picking up on social cues or lies about where the property line is or how to, contact the electrician. There's very minimal issue here, or issues. We have the Magician and the King of Wands, heavy on the Aries energy. I feel like a lot of this is because you've put forth a decent amount of positive energy into this and you've been selective. I also feel like there's protective energy around you. Yeah, there's someone who has passed on who sends very protective energy around you. I say that in part because of the big moon behind this guy. It makes me feel like it's a protective sphere. There is someone who feels like you are their replacement. This is someone who's passed on, but they feel like a very strong connection to you and feel like you were very similar or you are just like they were. And they send protective energy your way. Hello, Tina. How are you doing? All right. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you, everyone, for the likes. Thank you for the subscribes. And thank you for hyping if you're able to. I will see you on